Hi, everyone. The purpose of this short video is to acquaint you with how this course on international business management will end. What I'll do in just a couple minutes is run through the final couple weeks of the course and what will be expected of you to conclude the course. I'm making this video because I had a request recently from somebody who said that he was unclear as to what would be required, and he wanted to plan for wrapping up the course and writing a paper or whatever was required. And he told me that some other members of the class had similar questions or uncertainties. So I thought the best thing to do would be simply to make this little video and acquaint you with how the course will end. And with that, let me bring up some exhibits that were in your Moodle shell. Apparently these exhibits in the Moodle shell were where the confusion arose. So the Roman numeral 2 final exam term paper was an exhibit and an orientation to the course in the very first week. It may have been up above the first week. Sometimes I put these orientations in the material before the course begins, so people can be aware of how the course will unfold before it does begin. I believe this one was in the first week, but it's possible that I placed it up at a top level. In any event, you have a very short video with PowerPoint slides that include this particular PowerPoint slide. And it talks about the final exam term paper. And the point is that the term paper will take the place of a final exam. There won't be a final exam per se. Instead, there will be a term paper to answer some questions that I raise in a discussion at the end of the course for you to answer. And these questions will be based on the many cases that we've gone over and other discussion topics. For instance, we've had some discussion of the effects of COVID on international trade. And I'm hoping in the final week that we may be able to discuss that a little further. This assignment, this term paper is actually going to be a collection of short essays, nothing long and drawn out, not term papers, but specific answers to specific questions. Now, they have to answer the complete question, and sometimes the questions have more than one part. So it's very important to read the question and identify exactly what the question asks, and then perhaps break your essay into paragraphs that address the parts of the question. But any way you cut it, these will not be long, involved term papers, more than one, for more than one question. Instead, there'll be relatively short essays, each intended to answer a specific question about a discussion topic such as COVID, impacts on international trade, or the many cases that we have discussed. So specific topics, specific questions, specific answers. You do not need APA style. You don't have to put the author and the year in parentheses. I know who wrote the textbook, and all you need to answer the question is the textbook and any supplemental material that I have provided you. So you don't need to give me the references, you just need to give me the answers. I'll know whether they're correct or not. The topics for these essays will be discussed in the very last week. So let's move on to what you have on your Moodle shell for the last 2 weeks. So in a couple weeks, we'll wrap up the technical part of the course with the last chapter, chapter 17. It's an easy chapter. It's about international HR, and it's not terribly complicated. But there will be test number 3 on chapters 10 and 13 through 17, as well as the many cases that have been discussed during that time since test number 2. So that's the last test. There's no final exam per se, but there are these 3 tests on the subject matter in this course that has a lot of chapters, doesn't it? 17 chapters, so you don't need a final exam. I've broken the tests into 3 sections so they are manageable. The good thing about this textbook with 17 chapters is by the time you finish with them, you've had a pretty good grounding in international business management. And of course, that's what we're trying to accomplish. So in the very last week, oh, by the way, and during the week 14, we'll probably have a chance to begin the review of many cases and or COVID impacts on international trade. We'll have to see how that goes, but we won't be discussing just chapter 17. So that takes us then to the last week. And in the last week, we'll have a real in-depth review of many cases impacts or the themes of the many cases and other discussion topics such as COVID. But the idea is to review with you what the themes of these many cases have been and then what the issues are that you will need to write answers about. I would imagine, I have not made these questions up, but I would imagine that there will be 5 of these questions, maybe 6, but that's a lot. And you know, for you, you may think it's a lot, but there are 30 of you in this course. So if there are 6 questions, that's 180 essays for me to read. So I'm certainly not motivated to make up more questions. That's a lot of answers that I will have to read and grade. But that's how we're going to wind up the course with this collection of questions about issues raised by the many cases and the discussion topics. On Wednesday, I doubt that we'll have a class. If we do, we'll just meet, say goodbye. I'll answer any questions that you might have about the discussion questions, since you will probably started to write your answers, and I'll be glad to answer questions, and then your papers will be due by the end of the week. The semester actually ends, I believe, on Thursday, and so it'll be something like Thursday when your papers are due. So it won't be Saturday. Saturday will be commencement, and a few of you are seniors, so you better not wait till Saturday to turn your paper in, or you won't get your degree. And of course, I'll try to identify those people and grade their papers before I grade the others, because the administration will want to know your grade just as soon as possible. So that's it. That's how the course will end. That's what this final paper or final exam / term paper is all about. There's no final exam, but there is test number 3, which will be similar in format to tests number 1 and 2. So when I see you next in class, please feel free to ask me any questions about this that you wish, but I hope that this little briefing will help you have a clearer idea of how the course will wind up. So with that, I'm going to try to see if I can end this video. And sometimes the Moodle makes it difficult to do that, or Zoom does. And this seems to be one of those times. So you can go. This it's over.